Hello everyone, this is the great Lord and Master Osiron, the Eternal, for what's going to be, if you can believe it, another Tree of Life presentation. I honestly thought, I can't believe that I actually discovered more regarding the Tree of Life. I thought I had exhausted that completely, but I've discovered more. Okay, what we see here is the true tree in its root inverted position, and then the jewel of creation above that, which is what the Kabbalistic Tree of Life really is. Now, I've long since proved my point about the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. I mean, this isn't about that now. This is just about expanding on the principle more to further illustrate and show just how powerful this code is and how it just works beautifully and seamlessly together. So now we have this, we have the true Tree of Life inverted, and then we have this, the jewel. Now most people would consider this to be the Tree of Life, and then this structure below, they would consider that to be the Klipoth. And I have videos about that, about the Klipoth. Okay, but that's not really what's going on. This is only half of the story. The other half of the story is this. Voila, through technology and magic of paper and tape, I give you the other half of the puzzle. These two structures are, at first glance it looks like it's just the opposite of these, and it is just the opposite of those, but how it's constructed is different. See, what happens is, these construct from the outer edges and work inward. And then this side, it ends up being the reverse of this, but it builds from the middle and constructs itself outward. So what happens is, in the traditional structure, we got the true tree, the jewel, in the center position, or close to the center position is a 9. And as we know, 9 and 0 are the same. So what happens is, to give the opposite presentation, we start from here and build outward. So we have 0 in the center, then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then same thing down below. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we do that. It ends up reversing it ends up taking these two structures and they're exactly polarized, because we know that every number of the single digits has an opposite number. It's a mirror number. Now 1 is 8, 2 is 7, 3 is 6, and 4 is 5. Okay, so we know that. We know every number has its opposite, and they're sort of like twins. They're sort of like, all they are is this split of 9. That's all it is. So 9 is the unmoving light. It's the stillness, and the single digits are just fractal shards of that splintering of 9. So 1, 8, 2, 7, 3, 6, and 4, and 5. And this is what this is. So these work together. But what happens is, now there's a little bit difference with what's going on here. Because now when you have this set up in this quadrant form, each tree is a bit different. So what that means is, over here, because the da'af position is empty, it means that this isn't going to be an exact mirror of this. It's going to be different. So every tree is a bit different as far as the construction code of numbers goes. And we see that in the hearts. See, the hearts are all different. See, the hearts are over here. In the hearts, the true tree is 5, the heart of the jewel is a 6, and then these other trees, the sort of reverse negative imagery, the heart is a 3 and the heart is a 4. Okay, and now in this construction, we can also equate it now to the Zodiac. And this works beautifully with the Zodiac too, because we already know that the Osiron Tarot Spiral reveals the number sequence of the true Tree of Life. So now what happens is, each one of these trees represents a quadrant of the Zodiac. And how it goes is, you see over here, the X pattern, how it goes is like this. This is winter, the true Tree of Life is the womb, and it's the winter. Okay, then it jumps up to this tree, and this would be the spring, okay? And then it goes over to this tree, which would be the summer, and then it goes back down to this tree, which would be autumn, and then it goes back to winter again. And it's sort of like, now the question may come up, why does it do that? Why did you choose that order? Well, there's a few reasons. So now this is the winter, this is the womb, this is the root of it all, the true tree of life, and the code of numbers shows that, because it's 0 through 9. Now in this case it's 0 through 8. Yeah, but again, remember 0 and 9 are the same, so it works like that. But so we have this over here as the womb in winter, and over here, this is the sort of like the mirrored image of here, and this would be spring. It's sort of like spring is sort of like the precursor. It's sort of like the warm up for summer, and this is what we're getting at here. So you got the winter. This is like the warm up for summer or spring, and then it gets into the jewel, which is summer. Okay, and then autumn is sort of like the warm up for winter. You sort of get prepared for winter in autumn. It's cooler, it gets cold towards the end, and then you're back in the winter. And also in this configuration it works in its opposites too. So we have the summer here, and then its opposite on the zodiac, the opposite is summer. So we got the winter here, and the opposite is summer. Same thing here. We have the spring, and the opposite on the wheel is fall. So actually these structures would actually cross like this, and then it would form a circle. But in this configuration, when they're laid side by side, that reveals itself as an X formation. So we go winter, spring, summer, and fall, and then it continues in a loop. And it goes like that. Now there's also some more reasons why I chose that configuration. Because what happens is, now this is pretty important here. This is big. I just discovered this yesterday. Now over here you're going to see a bunch of numbers, okay? And you're going to be like, what the hell is this? And what happens is, now I've been talking all along about what happens when you add up the pillars. And the formula is the same for every tree. This pillar is the feminine, this pillar is the masculine, and the middle one is a fusion of the two, okay? So I'm always adding up the pillars. I add up this pillar, and that pillar, and it reveals certain codes of numbers. Well, what happens over here, this is what's going on with all of these trees simplified into its own little grid. So what happens when you add this pillar, and this pillar, you get this number here. Unreduced, it becomes 11, 11, and then 14, which reduces to 225. This tree over here, the jewel, reveals 16, 16, and 13, which becomes 774. This tree here is 17, 14, 14, which becomes 855, and lastly, which should be firstly, is the true tree, reveals 10, 13, and 13, which gives you 144. And now, the 13 in the middle here, some people might notice, yeah, but you keep saying it's 22 in the middle. Well, it is on the tree structure by itself. But because the 9, in this case, is above this line here, we don't count that on this lower tree. So we're only counting the 8 and 5 in this case, and the 9 does belong with this upper structure. So I only added the 8 and the 5 to give you the 13, reduced to a 4, so that gives you 144. So now what happens is, when you take this, when you add this 225 to this 144, we see this over here, 225 plus 144, it gives you 369. And now when you add this 855 to this 774 over here, 774, 855, it gives you the reverse of 6, 3, and 9. So we're seeing this in this cross-angular position is revealing 369, and then it's a reverse of 639. And of course, when you stack these two on top of each other, it cancels out to 999. And it's probably a good time to mention this, but what happens is, in case you didn't figure it out already, all of these numbers cancel out with their oppositions. So when you move these on top of each other, they cancel out. And you can see what happens too. The true tree reveals the 333, the jewel 666, and over here it's reversed, 666 and 333. And what happens again with this is they move inward in a wave, and these expand outward in a wave. So you could even view it as a toroidal, the two-phase toroidal activity like here, and that would explain the center line too. But now over here you're going to see something. This is from my video, God is a Woman First. God is a Woman First. Because people always flip out when I share that video. They're like, God is both, God is both. But God is a Woman First. I say that in the video. But this is a thing from that. And someone emailed me this right before I made that video. And all this is the numbers, all the odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, which are feminine on this side, and all the masculine numbers 2, 4, 6, 8 on this side. I get into exactly what this is. But now, over here on the true tree and the jewel, I have the lines drawn in a little bit different of a way. So instead of the traditional tree of life shape, all I have for lines are the actual action lines of the, in the red here you can see the angle downward. And then the structural containment lines. That's all that's here for lines. So every line has a purpose here. There's nothing that's not being used. You have the actual action lines, and then you have the structural containment lines to give it shape. And what happens when you do that is in the lower section, all the lines form to 20 lines, which becomes a 2. And in the upper jewel structure, all the lines add up to become 16, which reduces to a 7. Remember, and that 7's key, because remember, this is the material world here. This jewel of creation is a material world, and the 9, and the number reduces to a 7, and the spectrum of light is 7, and a lot of 7-ness going on. 7 is a very, 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 very important number. It's the blood, it's the fluids of the body. The spirit enters the fluids of the body first, so we're seeing this. The aspect of life. Remember, this is acting in the masculine manner. It becomes a 2. It penetrates the body, and then it penetrates the body into the blood here. So we're seeing this, and it gives you a 7-2 presentation when you do that. But this is also the same as the number, the raw numbers too. So we got 20 lines and then 16. That's the same exact thing as here. 1, 3, 5, 7 becomes 16 for 7, and then 2, 4, 6, 8 becomes 20 for 2. So this code that I used in the God is a Woman video shows up on the True Tree and Jewel when you only use active lines. That's it. And over here would be the same too, it's just I didn't include those because I just wanted to show a little different presentation, because all this is the negative image of this. But the human body is like that. This is sort of an analog of the human body as well, because the human body has two sides, two distinct sides, and the lower is a leg, and the upper is an arm, and there's two halves to that. So we got, if you were using the human body as an analogy, you would say this is the right leg, this is the right arm, this is the left leg, and this is the left arm. So it fits because the legs are different than the arms, and each leg is a mirror image of the other leg, and each arm is a mirror image of the other arm. So we're seeing this. And one thing too, how this relates to the zodiac, which is very, very important. Now the order of the elements. Now the elements are very, very important. I mean, it's one of the most important things you can ever learn. So this isn't just about numbers, as I say, but the elemental configuration is very important. And on the true tree, it goes rightfully water, I think I messed up on that. I think I put that wrong. Yeah, I did. I put air wrong, but it goes water, fire, and then air. I messed up on that, but this is the only one I did it. But so it goes water, fire for the heart, and then air. And then the jewel of creation, when it comes down, this is the human analog, air for the mind, heart for the, or water for the heart, and then fire for the sex. So these elements are like this. But when you shift to the zodiac presentation, the elements shift. So you wipe this out when you get it in its 4 quadrant, and it takes on the aspect of the zodiac. So now what happens is we have winter here, so this is earth for Capricorn, this is air for Aquarius, and this would be water for Pisces. This would be fire for Aries, this would be earth for Taurus, and this would be air for Gemini. Over here would be, and it goes with the flow of the number, the arrows. So this would be water for Cancer, this would be fire for Leo, and this would be earth for Virgo. And over here would be autumn, this would be air for Libra, this would be water for Scorpio, and then this would be fire for Sagittarius. Okay, so when you view this in its aspect of the zodiac, for the zodiac, the elements are going to change, and then they take on the element of the quadrant it's in. And you're also going to notice, so remember, each section now is 9, so we got 9 spheres here in this quadrant, 9 here, 9 here, and 9 here, and of course 9 times 4 is 36. So now you can also apply the deacons to every sphere. So each sphere now takes on a role of a deacon. In my case, I'm a first deacon Pisces, okay? So my sphere for my birthday would be this 6 over here. My birthday is the first deacon of Pisces, and that would be this 6. Now that's very interesting for me too, personally, because my life path number, my birth number, is a 3. So if you take the date of my birth and reduce the numbers, I'm a 3. And on this new configuration here, it's a 6. So even my own life takes on 3-6 presentation when you go to my birth code. So I'm a 3, and my birth sphere is a 6. And same thing. So a person who was like a second deacon Leo. Well, Leo is in summer, and so second deacon Leo would be this 5 here, and so on and so forth. Just off the top of my head, third deacon Virgo would be same thing. Third deacon Virgo would be the 9 in this case. So every single birth chart, every single person's birthday, every deacon on the zodiac, I should say, is correspondent to an individual sphere on this zodiacal configuration of the tree of life structures. So this is linking with that beautifully. And also another thing too, just a few more little tidbits. Each tree structure, when you analyze the pillars of the middle, so this is just dealing with the middle pillars, and see the hearts are all different as I show you. And it actually it shows the lower half of the code of numbers. It goes 3, 4, 5, 6. So according to the heart, this is first, this would be second, third, and fourth, but I don't really think that means anything, but it might. But it goes 3, 4, 5, 6. But now when you look at all of the active numbers within the middle pillar, over here we have 8 and a 3, which is this, 8 and 3. Over here we have 1, 6, 1, 6. Down here we have 1, 4, 1, 4, and then 8, 5 is 8, 5. So this is the heart, the middle pillar line of all the tree structures. And when you add the 8 and 3, it becomes 2. When you add the 1 and 6, it becomes 7 for a 2, 7. Now what happens below here is very interesting. Remember, these are the hearts. In the lower section here, the heart is 4 for this tree and 5 for this tree. Well, we already know that the 4 and the 5 are powerful terrestrial numbers, and they're very unique in the scheme of the number code. They show up in all these videos, and they do something that's very unique in a lot of cases. But so you got the 4 and the 5 for the heart here, but when you add the numbers totally, it forms its reverse. So when the 1 and the 4 become 5, and then if you add the 8 and the 5, that ultimately reduces to a 4. So you got the 4, 5 for the heart, but when you add the middle, all the numbers in the middle pillar, it shows its reverse of 5 and 4. So 4, 5, and then 5 and 4 are interrelated. They show their mirror too. A lot of powerful oppositions, and of course, 3, 6 for the heart of this. So the heart is a 6 in the tree, and then its mirror is a 3. So a lot of powerful action. Now over here, I'm just getting back to this. These numbers, you're going to notice something powerful with these numbers, is that on this tree, the pillar of Boaz and the middle pillar form the same exact number. Okay. On this tree here, the pillar of Boaz and the middle pillar are the same exact number. Now, when you get below the abyss, or this demarc line, it reverses. Now the middle pillar and the pillar of Yakin share the same exact number, and then over here on this tree, the middle pillar and the pillar of Yakin are the same exact number. So that's a very interesting aspect of what's going on here. So two of these pillars are the same fucking thing exactly on each of the trees, and above here it's feminine and below it's masculine, and it's showing the reverse. See, here's why to say God is a woman, from our perspective, we can't really say that. It's both. It's obviously both. But what I say is the female aspect precedes the masculine. That's all. And we're seeing that here because these are the pathway structures on here go from the spheres, I should say, go from feminine to masculine first below here. But these are masculine exertive aspects that penetrate the body. So we're seeing this beautiful correlation. So below here, the middle pillar and the masculines are the same, and above here in the body, the middle pillar and the feminine are the same. So, and they're both, because up here is masculine, because it's alive, it's masculine, but it's receptive and feminine, a body. So you're seeing the interchange of polarity with all of these structures. So there's a constant interchange of polarity, like the Tao. I mean, the Tao has the circle, the yin-yang symbol, the Tao has, each aspect has a piece of itself, of the opposite in it. And we're seeing that with all of this. We're seeing that with all of this. And we're seeing this beautiful way that these tree structures interrelate together. And the numbers, and what goes on with the numbers is just fucking amazing too. One more thing I want to get to. Remember, the heart of each tree is 3, 4, 5, and 6 at the heart. The 3, the 4, the 5, and the 6 take the heart positions, and the only numbers that aren't being used now are the 1, 2, and the 7, and the 8, and of course 9. And the place where that shows up below here is on the supernal triangle. You got the 1, 2 here, and then you got the 7, 8 here, and then the rest of the pieces are the hearts. And we know that the supernal triangle and all these structures is a unique aspect of the structure, which I get into on the mystery of the pentagram in several of the videos. But so this is it. This is the secret of the tree of life in the Zodiac, and this is presenting the tree of life structures in a much more complete and powerful way that shows that the number code, again, the single digit code, is perfect. Really it is, and it takes this structure of geometry that was abused by the Kabbalists and shows, it's just taking my point and my claims and the position that I've been making in these videos and just beating the fuck out of the Kabbalists with it, because it just shows that the Kabbalistic structure, all it is jargon. That's all it is fucking jargon and wordplay on a faulty frame. Just like the Ashiana Dean structure I get into on the video, like 2 videos back, I get it, or the last video I made, I think it might have been, that I made before this. It shows that the Ashiana Dean structure is a bunch of fucking jargon built onto a faulty frame, and that's what the Kabbalistic tree is. It's a bunch of jargon, wordplay, abstract nonsense built into a faulty frame. And what this is doing, it's correcting the frames, it's correcting the code, and you do that with numbers, not words, because numbers are solid frameworks that can't be, you can't deceive with numbers as easily as you can with words. Words are used to basically hypnotize people's minds. It's exactly what words do. That's why they're so powerful, because when you talk to someone, you are hypnotizing them with your words, or you're either gonna, depending on how skilled you are, you're either gonna use your words to seduce them or repel them. It's a two-way field. If your words are offensive, loud, and harsh, you're going to repel them. If your words are soothing, soft, and inviting, you're going to draw them in, just like masculine and feminine. If you're speaking using feminine language, you're going to be seductive, vague, seductive language that's designed to draw into you. But if you're being aggressive, masculine with your speech, you're going to be fucking cutting like a sword and projecting expansive aspects with your words, harsh language or whatever, abusive language, whatever it is. But this is this. So, thank you and namaste.